guys, wow, it feels like I haven't sat down in forever. But yes, the title is true. Kyle broke up with me about probably 8 years ago. And no, we're not broken up right now. But I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about our breakup because I know I have so many girls messaging me and asking like, what do I do when I'm in a breakup? Like, what should I do to get closer to God? What should I do to grow myself? So many of you are going through the things that I went through about 8 years ago. So I really wanted to share with you guys just some tips and tricks of what really helped me and what helped me draw closer to Jesus, which was kind of simple. It was my pain. My pain really helped me draw closer to him. So anyways, a little background. This is just like getting right into it. I feel like I haven't sat down and filmed videos in so long, so it feels kind of weird just talking to myself in my room. Normally me and Kyle are like out and about vlogging, so it feels nice just to get back on here and talk to you guys. But back to the background of our breakup. Me and Kyle will both say that the breakup was the hardest time of our life. And I can look back and say, I don't think I've ever been in so much pain before. And I don't think he has either, like just this deep depression. So that breakup lasted for about 3 months. And we dated for 2 years prior. And what happened to make us break up was I was kind of like, hey, so do you love me? Kyle would never say that he loved me because he only wanted to tell his wife, which is awesome. That sounds amazing. But after 2 years of dating, I was kind of like, hey, you know, like, I'm not just dating you to just date, which I didn't think that he would be dating me just to date me and have fun. But I did ask him, like, do you love me? Like, do you see a future with me? And I think that really scared him because I was his first girlfriend. He had been on dates before prior to me, but never like dated a girl. So this was our freshman year of college when I asked him this. And I think I just really shocked him. I scared him and I just wanted to know, like, do you love me? And I thought it was great that he didn't want to say, like, I love you just to everyone. I love that he only wanted to keep that for his wife. But I think it's a little unrealistic. So I really wanted to know, do you love me? And I don't think it's bad to say. I think withholding it is almost lying to yourself a little bit. And if he didn't know if he truly loved me or not, I wanted to know that. And so that's why I asked him and confronted him. So he was also taking this allergy medicine at the time that made his moods go up and down. It was like a roller coaster. Like one day he would be so in love and so joyful and bubbly and like you could just really tell that our relationship was great. And then the next day would be kind of like standoffish. Not that he wouldn't like call me or anything, but it was just like, you can just tell there was a little bit of distance, a little bit of just like questioning, I guess, and that kind of made me worried. So that's another reason that I brought it up and I wanted to see about the future. So that definitely scared him. And then I think it was the next day when I came to his house, I actually didn't go into work because I was just so sad about our talk and how it went the previous day. So I called out of work and I went to his house, and actually no one was at his house at the time. So he and I just talked and he kind of explained his feelings to me, like he's not sure how he feels about me, like I'm his first girlfriend, so he just wasn't sure. And I'm like, it's been 2 years, like I'm sure, why are you not sure? Now mind you, I dated other guys previously, so I knew what being in relationships with other guys was like. He didn't as much. He dated a few girls as like went on dates, but never had a long-term relationship with anyone like I did. So I definitely knew that he was the one before he did, which is kind of hard for me to say because normally I feel like I always hear stories of like the guys knowing first and the girls kind of being like, I don't know. But for us, it was the opposite. Like I knew, he didn't. And so that kind of hurt. But yeah, so we broke up for 3 months. My parents were actually living in Dubai at the time and I was living at my friend's grandma's house, which is kind of weird. But she had extra room in her house where I could live and go to college. And so it was during the summer. Actually, it was right after Easter. So I think like going into summer. I think it was like the day after Easter. I can't really remember. Spring going into summer. So I didn't have anyone to go to once we broke up, but I just felt crushed. And Kyle could see that. And Kyle was crushed as well. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to send you to Dubai which sounds crazy. Like, what kind of ex-boyfriend would do that? I'm gonna send you to Dubai. He actually lied to me and said that he had free tickets anywhere in the world, and he said he was going to use them for a mission trip, but decided that he didn't want to anymore, and he wanted to send me to Dubai to stay with my parents, which I don't think I could have gotten through our breakup without being with my family. It was just a very lonely, sad, confusing time. So the fact that he still loved me enough to want to send me to stay with my family just shows you the kind of guy he is. So I was so thankful for that, and that just made me be even more sad that we weren't in a relationship. And that whole time that I was with my family, I just knew, like, this wasn't right. Like, this is not how it's supposed to be. It was super confusing. Like, no, like, I know he's the one. Like, I can just feel it. And the fact that he didn't understand that just really made me sad and really made me, like, question God. Like, God, what the heck, man? Like, is he really not the right one? And am I just being confused? Like, what's going on here? So during this whole time, my mom and Kyle would talk on the phone. And Kyle told me later that it was because he wanted to feel close to me. But it wasn't actually me. So my mom and him would talk, and she would kind of counsel him and just talk him through his emotions, because being a guy and being a guy that hadn't dated before, he was just very confused. He knew he was super sad, but he didn't know what to do with those feelings and if those feelings were true love or not. And so without my mom, I don't think that we would have gotten back together. Like, she was a huge help in this relationship. So I just want to thank her so much, because he's now my husband, and he's the best husband ever. So before I went to Dubai, it was very lonely. I think I had like a month or two by myself in Tennessee alone. And so during that time, I just dug into my word. I poured out my heart to Jesus. I sobbed to God, like, Lord, what is going on? I have never felt this type of pain before. I would play worship music constantly. I would surround myself with friends who would just feed truth to me. I was just constantly talking to God. And what really made me realize that I was distant from God was I made Kyle my idol when I was in a relationship with him. I made Kyle my God. I put all of my confidence in Kyle. My confidence came from Kyle. And when he was feeling sad, I felt sad, or when he was feeling a little bit distant, I would feel broken. I just realized instead of going to God, I would come to Kyle first. And so during that breakup, I have never been closer to God. My relationship grew so much with him. Like, I could just feel this peace surround me. Like, when I was driving, there was this like happy Christian song playing. What is that song? My friend would know. Gosh, if I remember, I'll put the title down here, but it's like a really cheery song, and I just started crying and like praising God even through that storm. So it was just so cool to feel God's peace and his overwhelming love during the hardest time of my life. So Kyle went on a family vacation as well during the summer, and you know, normally he's so bubbly and outgoing, but his family said like he literally just stayed in his room, like didn't talk to many people. You could just tell that he was dealing with a lot. So both of us during those 3 months were just really struggling separately. We didn't talk at all, which I think was really, really good and really healthy. We just made a clean break, and we just went to Jesus, like we both did. And I didn't even realize how much Kyle and my mom were talking. So she really was helping me through my feelings and her through my feelings. And I just had a ton of people praying for me and praying for us, because again, I was so confused and so lost. Like, what, God? Like, what are you doing? Like, that was the man I was supposed to marry. And so one day, it was more towards the end of the summer, and I was planning on staying in Dubai with my family. I was looking for jobs and all that. I got an internship with a magazine, which was awesome. Like, God was just filling my time and filling my life. So it was really good, but I was still in pain. So I was planning on staying in Dubai, and just because I didn't know what was going on with Kyle and I. And one day I sent Kyle this song I heard. I wish I remembered it. If I can find it, I'll leave it right here again. It's not that same song that I mentioned prior. It's a different one. But I sent it to him because I wanted him to really just think about his relationship with God. It was not a song about me and him, but I think he took it that way. So he wrote me, and then we started talking on the phone, and I remember I had that conversation with him, and you know, not talking to somebody that you loved for 3 months and then talking all of a sudden again, it was just like a scary feeling, and a feeling that I didn't know what to do with. So we talked on the phone, and you know, I wish I could remember everything we said, but he was just kind of like, I've been broken without you, like, how have you been? And I remember I went on vacation that summer with my best friend and my 88-year-old grandma to Hawaii. This was before Dubai. And I just couldn't sleep. I would wake up at like 4 in the morning with dreams, terrible dreams, like dreams about Kyle constantly every single night. And he said he had dreams too. And it's just like terrible dreams. So we talked and we told each other all of that and everything we've been going through and praying about. And he was like, you know, is this normal? And I said, like, every time that I broke up with a boyfriend in the past, or a boyfriend's broken up with me, it always felt refreshing. And it almost felt like a weight was taken off my shoulders. But with this breakup, it didn't feel right. Like, I knew this breakup wasn't gonna last. Like, I knew something bigger was going to happen. So we talked, and it was almost time for me to start back up college. So during this time we were Skyping and talking to each other more while I was in Dubai. And then he wrote me this really awesome note. I feel like I saved it, but it's on my old computer, and I'm so mad at myself for not like printing it out. But it was basically like, Hannah, like, I don't think those feelings, like, I know I love you, and I don't think those feelings of uncertainty will ever come back. And so I wish I saved that letter. It was so good. So that's what made me know that, okay, I have to go back to Tennessee, and we're gonna have to try this relationship again. Like, my foundation is firm in the Lord now, and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna try not to make him my idol again, and I'm just gonna put Jesus as my number one. And I wanted him to do that as well. So when we came back, our relationship like was still rocky. It wasn't perfect. I mean, like, I still had insecurities, and he still had questions, but we talked through it and just grew through it. We both would say we would never take our breakup back, because it made our relationship with God so much stronger, which in turn made our relationship with each other so much stronger. And then of course, what was it? So then like 5 years later, he asked me to marry him. Which still kind of took him a long time, but I mean, we were like 23, so it was a good age. It was after we finished college and all that, that we got married. But yeah, I just wanted to share my breakup story with you guys. I wrote a bunch of notes and then just started talking. I really didn't even like look at any of these notes, but I would say that breakups aren't always bad in a relationship. If you both love Jesus and you need to refocus on God and spend time with God, and just grow as individuals, our breakup wasn't bad. I didn't want anyone else. I didn't desire to be with anyone else, and he said he didn't either. And so that was just a confirmation to me that we were both on the same page. And yeah, breakups aren't always bad. It was actually really, really good for our relationship. And now we are so much stronger in our marriage. So I just wanted to encourage you guys with this little story time, telling you guys like how I put my focus on Jesus during that time of pain and sadness, and just to focus on yourself and growing yourself, because you have to remember that your boyfriend or girlfriend is never gonna fully satisfy you. And so once I realized that, and I realized that I'm not perfect, he is not perfect, I can only truly put my whole trust and hope in God. That made our relationship so much better, me and God's and me and Kyle's. So I just want to give you hope. Not everybody's going to get back together. Not every couple is meant to be. That's just our story. So if you're in a breakup right now and you both love the Lord and are serving the Lord and are running towards God, and if you look to the right or to the left and somebody is running next to you towards God, then I would say keep pursuing that relationship. But if that person's not, then I would say don't keep pursuing it and move on and just focus on yourself and focus on pursuing your relationship with Jesus, because he is your true bridegroom. So yeah, I know a lot of you are going through difficult times with breakups, and I know a lot of you asked, like, what can I do? I think the biggest thing with me was just filling my head with truth, filling my head with scripture, filling my head. We didn't really have podcasts back in the day, but podcasts are really good. I constantly just blasted worship music so my soul would feel joyful. I'm not one of those people that likes to listen to sad music when I'm sad. It just makes me even more sad and like dwell. I don't like to dwell in my feelings, which sometimes it's good, sometimes it's healthy. I think I definitely did mourn for a period, and then I was like, you know what, I gotta get out of this. And so I just filled my head with scripture and joy. One thing that I didn't have was a good solid small group, and I would say if you have girls that you can go to in a small group, do that. Whatever you can do to spend more time with Jesus and just get into a community, that really helps when you're going through a breakup. And just prayer and having other people pray for you was huge. So thank you guys so much for listening to my little story time. I hope I helped you guys in the best way possible. But yeah, those are my tips and tricks. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
I won't make it easy for you now.